Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Good
Back
times
in-
are ahead, though.
Yeah, stand-up's been fucking rocking, man. We're back in it. Come on now.
Yeah. You don't need anything more in life than that, and then hit some random dingers, right?
Oh, man, that's what I've been saying. Daughters, lock up your mothers.
You know, that's been going for me. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Sports Experience Podcast. I'm Dom DiTolla, sitting alongside co-host Chris Quinn, and we got a good episode for you today.
Yeah, we're talking soccer again, man. We're
Soccer.
back on the field, and we're talking one of the most underrated strikers ever, maybe the most underrated player ever.
Absolutely. And Chris, you're making me a soccer fan now because of this podcast.
I know, and I'll be honest, this one kind of spider webs out with a lot of the stuff we've been talking about. We're talking
hell yeah.
about Hugo Sanchez, without a doubt the greatest Mexican player ever, and just one of the best players from the 80s.
Yeah. I remember. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Ford was president, Nixon was in the White House, and FDR was running this country into the ground.
Oh, that's wonderful. Give me his birth date.
Birth date, Hugo Sanchez, born July 11th, 1958 in Mexico City, Mexico.
Just to give you a little history lesson on his family, his dad was actually an amateur player.
Yeah.
Which you see a lot of this for these guys, that their family essentially was involved in sports. So his sister actually competed in gymnastics.
Olympic gymnastics.
Yeah, for Mexico. So they were a very athletic family.
Yeah, good genes all around for
Yeah.
everybody. Good genes. His dad played for Asturias as well as Atlante.
Yeah.
I believe that's how you say it in Spanish. But yeah, he's got all the bloodlines and wants to be like his dad. And exceeded his dad, actually.
Well, you see him go before he ever plays a professional game, and this is why it's so interesting, just the structure of the way soccer was back then. Before he plays a professional game, he's actually playing for the Mexican national team.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. You don't really see that kind of off the bat, like you are on some sort of pro or even semi-pro team.
But everybody can just see the skill that's there.
Oh, yeah, the skill is automatically there. I mean, by the time he's 18, he's in the Olympics.
Yep.
The same Olympics as his sister in Montreal.
Yeah.
found
And that's
that
got to
pretty
be great
interesting.
for that family.
Oh,
And
totally.
This is why I like Hugo Sanchez's story. It's really a feel-good story.
It is. It's a feel-good story.
Oh, I like that.
We don't. After last week, we need a feel-good story.
I was just thinking that.
But yeah, signed at 18 with the Pumas de la UNAM, I guess is the best way to put it.
And this is the club team in Mexico that's directly associated with the University of Mexico.
Yeah.
So they pretty much have younger players coming through and learning some sort of trade or learning or getting a degree. He actually got a degree in dentistry.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, by the time he was 18. And because, I mean, you look at the time, you weren't making, I mean, essentially a living playing back then. It was like,
Gotta have this in my back pocket.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have that other thing like, baseball and football, like we went through in these stages of.
Imagine if he was a dentist, how many Tucson comics he would have helped with
Oh
dental
my
work
God,
on
so
the
many.
cheap. God,
So many.
so many.
But this is what was so great was this university team weren't very viable because they had a bunch of kids. But then Hugo Sanchez comes in, and he wasn't necessarily a starter in this first season, but he was involved in the first ever time they won the cup.
Yeah.
So the Prima División #1.
Primera, yeah. What was it? He's the golden child. He's setting himself up to be the golden child.
And plays for them for the next 4 or 5 years and really has a good run with them.
Oh, he kicks ass. I think in his last season, they said he scored 26 goals.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, we see, and this is what I thought was so interesting, was in this time in the off season, they actually loan him to the San Diego Sockers.
San Diego Sockers of the North American Soccer League.
Which was actually an indoor team at the time.
And you know what's funny? When I was a kid, my dad would take me to the Sockers games on and off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen the San Diego Sockers play before.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And he actually had a great goal scoring record with them, which helped him show that he could score outside of the Mexican division. I think he scored a goal every other game, and I think in his second, because they loaned him out twice, and I think
79 and 80, yeah.
Yeah, and I think in his second stint, he actually scored 14 in 15 games, and people were saying, like, wow, this guy is one of the best strikers coming out of Mexico.
But you know what? That's fucking cool that you can moonlight like that. You know what I mean?
It was a different era. Let me say this.
No, I know, but I mean, like,
a club team now would never be like, go play summer ball in an indoor league in the United States. But it was that time where it was like, yeah, you'll probably get better, and he really did, and he really
more
utilized
reps, bro.
this. Yeah, more
it's like
reps,
open mics,
bro. Come on now. So 80-81, you talked about it. This is his breakout season, and this is, like I said, coming off of this summer with the San Diego Soccer. So he's just like in his prime. People are saying the Pumas actually wins the league title for the second time. They win the CONCACAF Cup, which is kind of like the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
So it's like the South American.
Yeah.
All the best
North
teams,
America and Caribbean, whatever.
All the best teams come
Kokomo
together.
was not involved in that, I found out, sadly.
Damn it, man.
I'm sorry.
That's great. And the Inter-America Cup, which was just like another kind of cup like that.
But yeah, it said he scored 104 goals in 200 games for them.
A lot of that came in the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
what people were saying, because like you said, he had 26 in that last season. And we see clubs coming in from Europe, and the talk was that Arsenal...
Yeah, Arsenal was the first team that kind of had their eye on him.
Well, they had a better bid in on him, and this was especially... You see it for the time, was that he chose to go to Atletico de Madrid because he wanted Atletico Madrid because they spoke Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, they speak that lispy Spanish, but, you know, it's like
slightly different
between, like, Australian English and American English.
Exactly. But that's the thing, is he knew that he was going to fit in better because, especially at the time, Arsenal saw his talent, but I don't know if he would have become the player that he was going to Arsenal because they just didn't have that system to integrate at that time.
Well, and you know, I think it's one thing I found going over this guy's career that I found really cool is, like, it seems like he made the right decision as far as his playing career every single time.
Yeah.
Like, he developed himself at his own pace.
Yeah.
And there, you know, since he's not a sociopath, he didn't get in his own way, and he just kept getting better and better and kept kicking ass. Kudos to him.
And when it was time to move on, he moved on.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I think people need to realize when it comes to a career like this, is like when that door is open, he walked through it. So he goes to Atletico Madrid, and he actually has a slow start, which isn't crazy.
Yeah, it's like 8 goals in 20 games, but he's getting his feet wet. He's still in his early 20s.
And this is the other thing, is the game in Mexico is going to be completely different from the club game in Europe. That's the thing that we have to realize at this time in the 80s. It's just two different styles of play up to like top to bottom. So
hell of a decade, the 80s.
Oh, man. So 20 appearances, 8 goals. And then in the next 2 seasons, he actually has some good goal scoring records, but Atletico is not good.
No, they're just kind of a middling franchise from what I read.
He scores almost, and this is kind of like his goal scoring record, is he scores almost a goal every 2 games.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a striker, that is something to hang your hat on.
Exactly, because that's what you're paid to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think Atletico, they finished like 11th and 14th or something like that in those 2 seasons. But they're just a struggling team, not like they are right now. So I wanted to comment on the La Liga right now.
Okay.
Because Atletico is one of the top 3 teams.
That's fucking badass.
So it's Atletico, Real Madrid, and Barcelona.
Yeah.
Atletico won the cup or the league last year, but back in the day in the 80s, this was kind of more standard. They were a middling team.
Yeah. They exist.
And they exist.
It's like, hey, we're a team, guys.
And then in 84, 85.
Yeah, that's when it all goes crazy.
That's the other thing that he does. He has about 2 or 3 good seasons, and then his team finally kind of comes out, and he exceeds in that. So in 84, 85, they actually get second in the league, I think for the first time in a decade,
Yeah.
which is it's still a big accomplishment. They win the Copa del Rey, which is like the tournament that they held.
Yeah.
You know, the single elimination, more like the March Madness, if you will.
Sweet.
So that's a huge one to win, and he wins his first Pichichi.
Pichichi.
Pichichi. Excuse me. Yeah.
I had trouble. I was like Pinichi, Pinocchio. No, Pichichi.
You're right. With 26 goals,
Which is the top goal scorer.
Yep.
In that kind of realm, I guess.
in La Liga, and this is when he shows like I am the top goal scorer in La Liga.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And the top teams all start to notice this.
and in this, so let's go back to the beginning of 84-85. Maradona leaves Barcelona for Napoli.
Yes, he does.
We've done an episode on that. Go check it out.
Orgies, cocaine,
Oh, my
everything. That man lived the hell out of his life.
And then Barcelona, because they know that Maradona left, starts contacting Hugo Sanchez and says, hey,
Ooh.
we want to bring you to Barcelona. And they're courting him for this entire season.
What do you think that process was like? Like, do you like orgies and cocaine?
No, they are. So this is something else. They already know that he's just kind of like a standard.
A regular guy.
Yes.
It's like, oh, thank God you're
Maradona
normal.
was that outlier that was just like the party animal. So this
Belushi at Animal House,
exactly.
basically.
So this was what they were pretty much doing was they were courting him. They said, Maradona's gone. We're looking for our next star. You're it. And the other club that was really big was Bayern Munich that was coming in.
Oh, FC Bayern, yeah. All right.
They were both coming in. And the third club that was coming in was
Real Madrid.
And this is what I wanted to say about the current status was Atletico Madrid could currently keep their players from Real. Like they can currently be like, no, we don't want that kind of money. That's ridiculous. We'll keep our players. But back in the day,
They were probably needing to make money hand over fist, right?
it was just like too much money for them to deny.
It's like Krusty with the Canyonero. They drove it in front of my house.
But at the same time, they didn't want to deal with Real Madrid.
No, because
So-
that's like your own city. Like that's a rivalry like Barcelona and Real Madrid. So like you don't.
But even worse
Yeah.
because they are in the same city and they're the
Exactly.
dominant team forever. I mean, Real Madrid is the team that's associated with Spanish soccer. So it's just like
you're the little brother. Almost.
Exactly.
And the little brother that gets swirlies and pink bellies and shit.
so they decide. So the board doesn't want the fans' reaction of them dealing with Real Madrid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they deal them back to Pumas with the agreement that Pumas is going to immediately sell them to Real Madrid.
That's so great.
So they actually sell him for a world record. It was almost twice as much as Napoli paid for Maradona at the time. It was 2.5 million euros transferred for what it is today.
Well, the fans were super pissed.
The fans were so mad. But this was still one of the weirdest transfers to ever go down because each club occupied a single floor of a bank.
Oh, Jesus.
And then like they would go from like one to the other, like, all right, we're going to sell it to you, Pumas, for 2.5 million. And then Pumas was like, all right, we're going to sell it to Real Madrid for that much. And then that's how it went down.
Pumas should have just taken the money and been like, you lose.
Oh my God.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
I'm sure they made a nice cut as a middleman.
Oh, I'm sure they did brokering that deal, but still, like, just take the money and be like, what money?
Well, this is the sad thing with the way that soccer is, and it's still obviously like that, is players just can't deny the amount of money that comes in, or clubs can't deny
I was going
it.
to say clubs, definitely, because, like, ridiculous amounts, it's like you're going to have to take it. But July 15th, 1985, he signs with Real Madrid. And then the 19th of July, he's presented at the stadium in front of 50,000 fans.
The only players to ever have a larger presentation was Ronaldo, the only Real Madrid player, Maradona.
Yeah.
And actually Tevez, who we brought up in the Messi episode, who, when he went back to Argentina to Boca Juniors, that's how much they loved him over Messi. Is I think there was like something like 70,000 at his presentation.
That's what I find so fascinating about soccer is like in no other sport do you have that. Like when a guy signs a free agent contract in any of like the big four sports here, it's like in a press room.
In a press room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes they bring like their wife and family or whatever, but
no fan attendance would be happening. But that's exactly, and they bring him out to the middle of the field and they like juggle a ball and they present him with his number.
Oh my God.
So like it's very much orchestrated and it's very much the same every time, but it's like the press conference.
It is
where
only
it's the same, but it's that's how they do it in Europe.
50,000 people. It's like, look at our shiny new toy, everybody.
I just want to say this, and this is why the Atletico fans were extremely bummed with Hugo. Was he had the opportunity to go to Bayern, he had the opportunity to go to Barcelona, but then he came out as soon as he signed with Real, and this was his quote, and this was it's a knife in the front is all I have to say. So the time at Atletico was beautiful, but I have always wanted to play for the best, and that was Real, and it was such a statement
that's not a knife in the front, that's a shot in the dick. Like
it was such a statement that he was just like, I want to go on and be on this amazing team. And here's the thing that, like we were saying, he leaves at the right time. He joins this Real Madrid team, and then they go on to win 5 consecutive La Liga trophies.
That was so badass when I read that.
It's such a because he's like this last piece in this Real Madrid puzzle of this 80s dominance team. And people say because Real Madrid has had so many golden generations, but this 5-year window, they were so unbelievably good and so much better than every other La Liga team.
Well, he had awesome teammates. They called him the Vultures cohort. Emilio Butragueño. I don't speak Spanish. Sorry, I'm giving it my best Italian shot.
Butragueño. That's what it is, Butragueño.
Oh, okay. Manuel Sanchez.
Yep.
Just Mikel McLovin and Miguel Pardeza.
And Martin Marquez.
Yeah.
They were such a great team, and all of these players were there before. He was essentially like this last puzzle, like I said.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to say, because you were right, they're the Vultures cohort because they scored and poached so many goals.
They were like just attacking. I mean, it was like a feeding frenzy out there with those guys.
And it's such a thing that I have to keep reiterating was great players move on when they need to, and they join great teams and essentially like fulfill this destiny, because that's the thing. Like if he had stayed with Atletico, they might have gotten 1 league title maybe, and they might have just pretty much fell off into obscurity.
Exactly. And then losing money, and then they have to sell them off later.
Exactly.
You know?
Joining Real Madrid, he pretty much
85 to 90, they won every time. That's amazing. That's like
first
a level of dominance.
First game, I want to point this out. First game against Real Betis, he scores a goal and then goes and gets a red card.
That's fucking nice.
And a lot of the people in Madrid, because this was a world record by a ton of money, and they were saying, this is bullshit. We shouldn't have spent this money. We already have a good enough team. And then this first game, he goes out and he gets his red card, and everyone's like, see? And this is the thing about these gigantic clubs, these Real Madrids, is the expectations are so high, they're unrealistic.
Oh, so they're like Yankees fans.
Oh, my God. It's insane. So first game out, they're like, why did we buy this guy? And then he proceeds to win, and I mean...
I know. He goes nuts, dude.
Well, he proceeds in the next 7 games, he scores 6 times, but he has 3 game-winning goals in that span.
It's like, grab your crotch. How do you like me now?
And then in the second half of the season, he goes 10 goals, 10 games. And they were talking about it. He was so lethal in front of goal. He was...
Yeah.
And this is his first season. So, like, they were talking about... Because the last season, they hadn't won the La Liga trophy. They were so ahead in points that they weren't even... They were, like, subbing in their second team. Because I think they were 12 points ahead in March.
Oh, my God.
So, like, that's, like, ridiculous lead. It's so, and this is 85-86. They're playing in the UEFA trophy. And who do they play? Sorry, let me look it up because I forget. I see who they play in, and they play Inter Milan in the semifinals.
Okay.
Inter Milan beats them 3-1 in the first game, so they play 2 legs.
Okay.
So they play a home and an away. Inter Milan beats them in the first game 3-1, and they come back to Madrid. And Sanchez actually scores 2 goals. They beat him 3-1 to go to extra time. And in that, somebody else scores the goal to have them win, but he scores 2 goals from the penalty spot, both to tie it. You know, boom, boom. And they were talking about that being one of the best European games of that decade. Inter going up 3-1, Real Madrid coming back 3-1, and then winning in overtime.
Oh, that's badass.
So like that was, and he scored 2 goals, both from the penalty spot, but still,
he was such a great penalty kicker, though.
That too. Yeah, that's what I mean. And this is what people say about penalty kickers. Just like, was he reliable? That's it. That's all I care about. And he was absolutely reliable. So they go on to face FC Quinn, who, hey man, that's just who it is.
All right.
And this is one of the things that show why stuff needs to be changed. So the finals used to be 2 legs, home and away.
Yeah.
And they beat them in Madrid 5-1. And then they go to, I believe it's in Norway. They go to, I forget exactly where it is, but they end up losing 2-0.
Okay.
But they win on goal difference.
Uh-huh.
And this is what they were saying. They were like, we don't want the team that just lost to be holding up the trophy.
Exactly. It just kind of takes the fun out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So they made it a one-off in a neutral place, and it made it such a greater,
like the Super Bowl.
Exactly. It made it such a way better tourney because you have all these 2 legs building up home and away, and then you have one neutral place. And this is one of the reasons why, because Madrid just kind of held it, and we're just like, well, you're not going to beat us 2-0 for the title. Yeah. So that's actually Sanchez's only European Cup.
That's interesting.
Is 86, and this is the big
it said he won
blow to his career.
Still 4 straight Pichichi trophies.
Well, this is my thing with Real Madrid is they expect to win in this era. They expected to win the European trophy like every year.
Yeah,
and they were
never panned out for him.
They were semi-finalists and finalists every year, but not
always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
But you're right, 4 Pichichis in a row. 1 with Atletico, and then 3 with Real Madrid.
And he's the only guy to do it without sharing it, being tied. I found that pretty interesting.
Messi actually is the only player with more. He has 6.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about his 5th one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This is such an amazing season.
Oh, dude, it's badass.
In soccer, it's probably the greatest season ever, and we'll get into it right now. 89-90. They call it just like the magical season, where he scored 38 league goals in 38 touches.
Oh, sweet Lord.
So just to put that in perspective, like, he never took a second touch. He never took a dribble and then a shot. Every single time he would score, the ball would be passed to him and he would just kick it in. He never had to adjust a shot. He never had to do, and you should
he was always in the right spot, dude.
Exactly.
Like, somehow he fucking knew, and his teammates knew, just like, here you go.
Here we go back to the man, Emilio Butragueño, because he was the artist that if he didn't have the assist, he had the second assist. So he had that second pass. And this is what I wish they did. They do it in hockey, but I really wish they did it in soccer, because that fucking first pass is so important.
Yeah.
And this is what it was you will never see a feat like this again, to have 38 goals on single touches in a single year. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
It's such a ridiculous feat. So just to go through, they actually end up losing. Their European stuff for the past couple of years have been kind of shitty. They keep going out in the semifinals. And in this one, they end up going out to AC Milan. Mm-hmm. We see this AC Milan team that we've talked about before with Van Basten, and they end up, because everybody thought this was going to be their year.
Yeah.
He's dominating. And AC Milan ends up, this is the semifinal, ends up scoring 5 goals, because the first game was 1-1. And then AC Milan scores 5 goals in 40 minutes.
Ooh.
And it was one of the worst. People were saying it was like humiliating for this
it's
club,
like
who's
the Hindenburg of games.
Exactly.
Oh, the humanity.
Especially because they literally thought this was going to be their double. This was going to be their, everything was lining up, and they end up losing. And this is the last season.
Yeah.
So he hit his age.
Well,
too.
he's 30. I think like 32 at this point.
He's 32.
Yeah.
It's 1990, and we're gonna backtrack and we're gonna get into the international.
Let's do the international.
All right. So I want to say he played in the '76 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico at this point is not a good international team. They lose all 3 games. They don't have a point, and I think he scores 1 time.
Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't really do a lot.
Excuse me, not 76, 78.
Yeah, in the World Cup. But he's not on the team in 82.
The 82 actually don't make it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not in the World Cup.
You're right.
Yeah.
So 82, they don't make it. 86, this is what I found so interesting, is Mexico bid for it, and we've talked about it before.
Yeah, Hand of God World Cup.
Is this a Hand of God?
Yeah, 86. It's in fucking Mexico.
It's beautiful. I was just going to, but this is the thing, is why they get this World Cup is they finally have this star to back it up. So Mexico's love for soccer was always known, and they needed this star, and Hugo Sanchez is the star that they can kind of hang their hat on, because they were talking about it like how they got it again I believe they'd got it again. No, never mind. But they got it in 86, and I think it's because they had this star, and they actually play really well. Yeah,
they do an awesome job. I wanted to ask one thing. Was that the one that they wanted to do in Colombia, and like the fucking drug cartels were rampant? Okay, that's
so it was scheduled for Colombia, and this is why Mexico was such a high bid, was they had this star. But same with Colombia, this was Colombia's golden era, and they had these stars emerging.
I would say it's the white era, if you know what I'm talking about.
A little bit of Colombian whites.
Marching powder. Yeah.
But that's the thing is, the love of soccer isn't enough. You need stars to hang your hat on.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
But you're right. It was the giant earthquake that hit, and they were also like, they were like, hey, the giant earthquake actually hit Mexico, but they were like, hey, in Colombia, it's not safe to come.
Yeah, exactly. But, Denmark was in this one too.
Yeah. Check out that
See,
episode.
I'm learning.
But Mexico has a pretty good group stage. They make it for the first time. They make it to the knockout stage. He gets a goal against Belgium. They get a really lucky draw to play Bulgaria. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't get that now because they're seeded. So they wouldn't get that draw.
Oh, no.
And then they play West Germany.
Goddamn Germans crapping on everyone's dreams.
And this was something that they were saying this was one of the best Mexico performances, because they tie West Germany 0-0 for the entire game.
Yeah.
Go into penalty kicks.
They did a great job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Germany's known for just like the best penalty taking team in the whole world. So they ended up beating them in 3 straight, it was so brutal because Sanchez doesn't even get a chance to take one.
Yeah. Good at soccer, bad at world wars. Germany, everyone.
Oh my God. And then in 1990, and this is why it's sad, because he could have technically played in 5 World Cups.
Yeah.
82 they don't qualify. 1990 they get docked points. Them and Chile get docked points because they were fielding overage men, essentially, in like under 21 and under 18 games.
Oh, come on.
And they get docked points to qualify for World Cup, and Mexico actually doesn't go in 1990.
That sucks.
So it sucks for Sanchez, because he technically could have been a 5 World Cup, because he goes in 94. He doesn't play, but he goes. I'm just saying, that's his international career. Mexico's never had a great international team, but he was always like their
marketable star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about now in 90, 91, he ends up getting injured.
Yeah.
And this is when this Real Madrid dynasty falls apart.
Yeah.
And we see this Barcelona dynasty come up with Johan Cruyff.
Yes.
And Pep Guardiola in the defense. And we see Barcelona win 4 straight.
Total football.
So, and that's what we see, this change happen. And this is what sucks about Sanchez, is he gets injured almost for the whole year.
Yeah.
Comes back in 82, and they're playing
92.
Excuse me, 92. Yeah, holy shit.
Are we going back in time right now?
Comes back in 92. It's the cocaine. It fucks with me. But he comes back in 92. They're playing in the knockout stage of the European Cup against Torino. Second leg. They beat him 2-0 in the first leg. They ask him to play in the second leg. He refuses.
Interesting.
Torino goes up and beats him. I think they beat him 3-0. And
geez.
They go ahead. And Torino actually knocks him out of the European Cup. Real Madrid actually suspend him for 3 months.
Wow.
And find him $1 million
pesetas.
Pesetas. Thank you for saying that for me.
Pesetas, yeah.
Which was one of the biggest fines that they have ever laid out, and it was one of the biggest suspensions, and they were just like, this is humiliating for the club.
Not even Maradona could do that.
And everybody was like, all right, his time at Real Madrid is done. Yeah. And he ends up going back and playing for Club America in Mexico.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
He shows Shows that he still has it.
Yeah,
Let
he
me say
definitely
that.
shows he still has it. Mexico wins the 92 CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yep.
Club America, I guess that's how you're... Yeah, in 92-93. And then in 93-94, he plays for a team, Rayo Vallecano. I can't say it. So
I always just call him Raylo.
Raylo, okay, good.
He actually meets up with some former Real Madrid players.
Yeah, Butragueño, I think, was on that team. Yeah,
but they were definitely past their prime. I think actually that team got relegated in that year.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to point it out that dynasty was so great, but in 2 years later, they couldn't help them stay up, kind of thing. But I think he actually had 16 goals.
Yeah,
he was still rocking.
It's like he's not terrible, but yeah. 94-95, he played for Atlante, his dad's team.
Yeah.
And then 95-96, he's in Austria. And kind of during this era, 35 goals in 80 games. It's like you can see a age decline, but still, like, he's a good player.
And he's still a name that can sell jerseys.
Exactly.
And he's not like a problem on the pitch.
Yeah, he's not, Aaron Hernandez or anything.
And then he goes to USA.
Yeah.
Plays for Dallas Burn, and he was actually one of 2 players to ever play for both North American leagues.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So he played in MLS for 1 season.
Which is a name to kind of get people out.
At that point, it was 100% a name. He ends up bouncing around a couple of Mexican teams straight up as a name.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is he comes to retirement, I think, in 97.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But it's still very impressive.
One of the best strikers of all time. His goal scoring is debatable because it is a time that everybody wasn't recording.
Oh,
if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
There's some debate that he has over 600, and there's some debate that he has over 500. The only players in the modern era that have more goals than him are Messi, Ronaldo, Suarez, Ibrahimovic, and Lewandowski. So, it's these 5 guys who are just like
some
top.
of the all-time greats.
And in his era, nobody had more goals than him. That's the thing that has to be reiterated was he is the greatest player to be overlooked. He was such a unbelievably precise striker. I don't think anybody was more deadly in front of goal in the 80s. And I mean, we talked about it. There's 5 consecutive La Liga trophies. If this was another team, that would have been their golden generation by far.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, because they're fucking assholes. They're like only 1 European Cup. I mean, come on. And it's absolutely almost disgraceful, to be honest, but that's the way they treat it is if they're not winning the double every year, then it was almost a year lost.
That is so loathsome of an attitude. Oh, my God.
It sucks, but that's the platform that they put themselves on.
Oh, no, and good for them. I mean, you're either first or you're last.
That's, oh my God,
Ricky
that's
Bobby.
so them. He went back later on and coached, he coached at UNAM, the Pumas.
Yeah, he did.
For a while, and then coached Mexico for a couple of years. His Mexico stint was not very good.
No, it was kind of up and down and rocky as far as...
He's very volatile.
He's volatile. He didn't really, wasn't a fan of the media.
Nope.
No.
And he wasn't a fan of being questioned with his tactics, which kind of former players are known for. They're not the best at handling outside stuff.
They're probably like, hey, did you play? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no, seriously, though. They're like, why are you questioning me? And it's like, well, damn, all right.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, just want to say, just one of the greatest strikers ever, Hugo Sanchez.
He was a bicycle kicking machine, everyone.
Oh, volleying, bicycling. He pretty much
kick.
Yes, he revolutionized the off the ground volley and was, like I said, he
was a gymnast too, so he's got that kind of. He's got the moves.
Please go look at the highlights from this 89-90 year. It is so unbelievable. You'll never see anything like that again. 38 goals, 38 touches. For me, the most underrated soccer player ever.
Yeah, this dude's awesome.
Hey everybody, this is just a stock message at the end of every episode. We hope you enjoyed whatever athlete and or team that episode was about. Just want to say, give us a quick follow on all social media. We have a YouTube channel, the Sports Experience Podcast, and we're on Instagram, DiTolla Dominic, and myself, Quinn Comedy. So give us a follow all around. We're always recording right here at Engle Studio. Thank you all very much.